Hi everyone, this is Diane. I'm so happy to be able to show you this journal today. This is the Pansy journal that I'm calling Thoughts of You because pansies stand for thoughts. And I'm going to flip through this with you today. First, I want to show you the extras that will come with it. I have a few of the flower petals that I colored in case you wanted to scatter them on some of the pages. Some paper scraps that you can make embellishments with. This little crocheted pansy. The rest of the pansy digitals that I did not glue down. And this little library card. I could probably just tuck that in a pocket. And these stickers that I didn't even use. Somebody sent these to me and I love them, but I just didn't use them. So if you wanted to use them, you get a nice label size sticker, and then this is a larger label, and I have 2 pages of those for you. So all of these come with the journal. I used a very old quilt to make to make the cover, and I think it might have been a wedding ring quilt pattern. And I put this part on the front because it has the pink and the purple section right here that goes well with the pansy colors. And then I used this pink crocheted edging, large wide edging, to just add a pretty element at the top. There's a pretty vintage lavender trim on the front and the back edges. And this pretty, I got it at an estate sale, and it's not old. I don't know when it was made, but it's definitely not very old. But it is a flower made out of fabrics, and it's not a pansy, but the colors are beautiful, and I added the leaves behind it, and I just think it's a nice element to the front. And I tied it with this beautiful, soft, and crumpled up yellow satin ribbon. Love it. It's so soft, not stiff at all. On the inside, I lined it with this purple and white fabric, and there is iron-on interfacing on that to help stiffen it up. There's a little batting on the quilt, so it's not super thin, but it's very flexible. And I added that vintage book plate. I used a journal kit, digital kit called Lovely Pansies, I think it's called, and I was going to remember the name of the shop, but it's called Digital Fit. That's the name of the shop, and I will link this kit below. I added some lace and this leaf trim on the edge of that page, and I used TLC Creates vintage watercolor background paper to print on the backs of the papers. Did a little collage here. I had some squares and strips and diamond shapes cut out of pansy fabrics that were given to me, so I used them in various ways. And this is just a word from a digital set. I had this textured yellow paper that I had run through my Big Shot with my checkerboard embossing folder. So I made a couple of pockets with that, and then added this, which came out of a book. This is silk ribbon. And there's an antique postcard. You're going to get a lot of antique postcards in here, along with some other antique ephemera and vintage ephemera. This is just a pansy card. I don't think it was cut off of a card, so I'm not really sure what it was for. Maybe it was cut off of a note card. I think somebody sent it to me. I did some stenciling on the white pages, and I had 2 pansy stamps that I used throughout the book. This is from a book called England is a Garden. Beautiful, beautiful pages in that book. And I used pansy pages here. Little brown envelope here. And this is a digital print of a Victorian item that I have, or I did have in my collection. I don't know if I still have the original. I may have sold it in a bundle, but I did make that into a digital. I think it's in my shop in a ephemera kit. And this is a place card that I got in a Happy Mail. And it fits in there. You can write on the front and the back. So you will see one of these envelopes with the place cards in each signature. I love the pages that look like there are grommets or eyelets and bows along the inside part. It's really pretty. Lines for journaling. Some wrapping paper. I used a bridge score pad here on this scrapbook paper. And these are some of the Pansy fabric pieces that I had. And I just put a piece of silk ribbon again down the center there. That's a sticker from the Antiquarian sticker book. There are some vintage greeting cards with pansies on them. You can't really open that up to write on it since I sewed it in, but you could, if you wanted to, you could put some glue down here and tuck something in there. But isn't that a beautiful picture? And it's embossed. And the beauty continues on the inside. This is a page from an Ideals book. And I put some yellow lace down the side and a digital postage stamp of pansies. And this is a flower petal that I colored with inks. I put a piece of writing paper here and a pocket, an eyelet fabric pocket there. And I have this pansy note card that's embossed and just beautiful. So there's lots of writing space on that. And again, here is pansy stationery with embossed edges. Just looks so elegant. And there's one of these envelopes in the center of each signature. There's nothing in the envelope. But you can add something in there. I'm sorry, I was distracted. My phone did something. And again, the eyelet pocket just goes all the way across that page. And this came out of a book. And I just added this antique ledger page to it with pink and purple lines and stamped on it. I made a little flip here with this piece of a purple crochet, and it's thin. It's a very thin yarn that was used, so it makes a nice, delicate, thin doily. I love it. And that gingham just shows it off. There's the other side of that gorgeous pansy card. And the back was messed up because it had been glued into a scrapbook, so I added this paper. So the person who sent me those stickers that I'm including with the purchase of this journal sent me these and the envelopes too. So I did use some of the things, and I'm keeping some of them too because they sent me quite a bit. There's another sticker there. These journal pages are just so cute. I love the pansies. There's a glassine bag, and I glued this element on from a book. It's an image of an antique fan with pansies on it. I have this pansy postcard that I just got at, I think I got it at an estate sale. I've recently been to a couple of estate sales and an antique mall, so I got it at one of those. And this is an antique pansy postcard. I could have added lace or ribbon or something to the tops of these to make it easier to pull them out, but I didn't want to alter the antique cards at all. And this is a piece of German scrap. I don't know how old it is. It's embossed, you can feel it. And I had this pocket in my stash, just a file folder that I had colored with inks and stamped, make every little moment count. And we have another antique postcard. So that's 3 in this one signature. And a tag that I put a napkin on with Mod Podge. Some sari silk. and just a little, kind of a collage down the side of the page. A digital piece of fabric from a book and a digital word. Delight, because pansies are delightful. Second signature again has the ribbon or the lace and the leaf trim and a collage up here. This pocket was also one that I had made and it was in my stash. The purple went well and I liked this embroidered trim even though they're not pansies. Just a little label there. I think that was a sticker. Another antique pansy postcard and a little note card. And I just covered up the writing on the back with a card that you can journal on. I did use some pretty scrapbook papers throughout the book. This is from a gardening book, and this book was about annuals. So there's some pansies there. And there's the envelope with the place card in there, and that's a digital postage stamp. This is a note pad that I bought at the thrift store, and it had a hole through it. I think you were supposed to hang it on a doorknob for people to leave notes. But I put it on there, and it's a little peekaboo so you can see the scrapbook paper behind it. Here's another vintage greeting card, and this one opens out like that. So you probably wouldn't want to glue that one. I don't think you really could glue it shut to tuck things in there. Another Ideals book page, and it has a recipe for salmon and pasta salad. Another eyelet fabric, or it was a very wide eyelet lace pocket, and just some green copy paper back there. And this is just a sheet of the stationery, the same as that. I just glued the envelopes shut. I just want to make sure they all, yep, make sure they didn't get glued closed. And this is another digital. I had the original piece from a Victorian scrapbook, and I made a digital out of it, and I just inked the back of it. Tangerine almond salad. And another fabric flip with one of those pretty doilies, this one in green. This one you could glue shut to make a tuck spot, this side of it. I just love the greens and purples in this paper. Of course, I chose the colors of that watercolor paper that would go with the journal kit. And a glassine bag with a napkin Mod Podge to it, and it holds another antique postcard. 1909. And tucked behind it is another postcard that I got at one of the places that I was at. It's vintage, it's not antique. This is an actual antique piece from a Victorian scrapbook. This is not a digital. I just glued it down there. I made a pocket here. This is a digital from Eclectic Eggplant. This came out of a book, and I glued it to the antique ledger. And again, Mod Podge napkin. This is also from Eclectic Eggplant. It's open a little bit. You could tuck something small in there if you wanted to. And the third signature there's the other textured yellow pocket and an antique postcard. I was going to read that to you, but it's in a different language. It was sent to someone in Michigan. ideals page. And another greeting card. It's got light embossing on it. I like that they decorated the insides of the cards also. Another ideals page. And this one has a journal card that I made with, I have these seed packet labels in my shop as digitals. So this is a digital, and I put it on a time card that I cut. It's got some lace and a purple brad there. You can write on the front and the back. It's got this yellow gingham seam binding or bias tape along the bottom. Oh, I need to do something to that white edge. I'm going to put a piece of washi tape down there. And another greeting card with some pansies. I had a lot of greeting cards and postcards. This one you can open it right up and write on it, since I didn't sew it into the book. And the final fabric flip with the crocheted piece. More recipes there. Another glassine bag, and this has a digital from Eclectic Eggplant glued on there. It's just a smaller version of that larger piece that I had on the edge of a page. And an antique postcard. 1913. We are spending our vacation, R is A-R-E, at the lake having a fine time, from Aunt Lily. And it was sent to Edith Smith in Towanda, Pennsylvania. Towanda is my county seat. And this was a little poem about pansies from a book by James Whitcomb Riley. And I just added it to a piece of scrapbook paper and put this sticker on there. This is a tiny little gift card that you would attach to a package. So small. I kept finding bunches of gift cards and seals that you would decorate a package with for a few years at the Tioga Downs flea market, the one I call the Barns. I haven't found them lately, but I love them. I still have quite a few. And a poem about pansies there. And another postcard. (1909). I was trying to figure out what this is. It's something covered in forget-me-nots. It looks industrial. There's a stack there and pulley here and a rail. I don't understand, but it's a pretty card. And then on the back I used a scrap of the quilt to make a little pocket. Added some cotton trim lace and a crocheted pansy. I sent the other one. I'm sending the other one along with this. And this is an antique piece that came out of a scrapbook, and it is an advertising card for Days Soap. I just trimmed a little bit off the width to make it fit in there better. And my signature is on the back. You can see it's embossed. It's genuine. I love this journal. I'm going to count all of the vintage greeting cards and antique postcards and put that in the listing because I lost count of them. But you get a lot of things like that in here. And the antique, or it's probably not antique, but vintage quilt too. It's just a lovely vintage item. And pretty too. All the pansies just make it so friendly and pretty. I hope that you like this, and I hope that you will come back to see the next journal that I will be making. This is in my shop when the video goes up, and this will be the next one. Using this book, even though there are no irises on the front of this book, I am making an iris journal with this, and I showed you my supplies in a video when I was sorting my pansy and iris things, but I also decided to purchase the Mrs. Coggs Iris journal kit. She does journal kits now, not just the ephemera cards. And this is the first kit of hers that I've purchased, and it was on sale yesterday. It ended 2 hours after I made my purchase. It had been in my cart for a while as I debated. But it's beautiful iris images plus images of ladies with irises from art, from paintings. And it comes with 11 pages plus a page of tags. I only printed 10 pages though. There was one page that I didn't really care for, and I didn't really need that many pages, so I just didn't print it. So I hope you come back to see this one in progress, or the flip through, or both. But I want to say thank you for watching, and I'm really glad you joined me today, and I hope that you will follow the link below to go to my shop and look at my journal, and maybe check out the digitals that are there. Thanks so much for watching, and have a creative day today. Bye-bye.